Hello, my name is Ben, and I'm one of the creators and co-hosts of the Sofa Festival game show. The live shows took place on the 16th and 17th of July, but we thought we'd bring you some of that fun and show you some of the highlights from the best rounds. So right now, it's time to have a look at round 2. Guessapy the recipe. Chef Beth and myself donned our hats and challenged our teams to try and work out what we were making from the ingredients list alone. So, do you fancy yourself as Jamie Oliver or Adelia Smith? Let's find out how well you know your onions in the Guessapy the recipe round. Yes, it's time for Guessapy that recipe. You join us in the Sofa Festival Test Kitchen. Now, myself and Chef Beth are going to be cooking up a few different recipes. We're going to be reading out the list of ingredients. All you have to do is work out what recipe we're using or what are we making. For example, if I said you need the whites of 3 eggs and 150 grams of caster sugar, what would I be making? The answer would be meringues. Meringues. Hopefully you kind of understand what's happening this round. I think you might get it as the round continues. So Beth, could you tell us what you're making?
Of course. So recipe number 1. I have got 200 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of softened butter, 4 eggs, 200 grams of self-raising flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 tablespoons of milk. So what could I be making?
I have no idea, Beth, but it sounds delicious.
It is.
Recipe number 2 is 200 grams of unsalted butter, but it had better be a bit softened. 200 grams of golden caster sugar, 1 large egg, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 400 grams of plain flour, plus just a little bit extra for dusting. What am I making?
Interesting. On to recipe number 3, and I have got 284 milliliter carton of double cream, 300 milliliters of full fat milk, 115 grams of golden caster sugar, 1 vanilla pod, 3 large free-range egg yolks, and very important, have lots of ice cubes at the ready. It's very important.
Those ice cubes are important, but why? What are you making, Beth?
Who knows? Who knows?
That's the aim of the game.
Aim of the round.
Recipe number 4 now. 200 grams of plain flour, a pinch of salt, 350 milliliters of milk, 2 large eggs, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, plus a little bit more for frying. What am I making?
A little bit of frying there, I like that. And number 5, we are on to 500 grams of strong white flour, plus extra for dusting, 2 teaspoons of salt, 7 gram sachet fast action yeast, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and 300 milliliters of water. So what am I making there?
As we said earlier, it's the aim of the round.
It is indeed.
Hopefully you budding chefs and bakers have got some answers, because we are going to tell you what we are making right now.
Yes, so recipe number 1 was in fact your classic Victoria sponge cake. So well done.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
It's a staple of every bake sale.
Oh, it is. It is, without a doubt.
Recipe 2, I was making Some easy biscuits. Some biscuits, some easy ones. It's the most simple biscuit recipe I could find on the internet, believe it or not. Sharon is saying this is hard. It wasn't, Sharon. Those were easy biscuits. That's what they're called. Don't know what to say to you.
And number 3, with those mysterious ice cubes, was in fact ice cream. So
it all makes sense now, Beth. It all makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Recipe number 4. You've got to have got this one, surely. It was, of course, the classic pancake. None of these fancy American ones. I'm talking a traditional flat pancake.
Yes, definitely. And number 5 was classic white bread. So well done if anyone got that. I think maybe the yeast could have been a little clue as to what it was, but it was still challenging nonetheless.
It was. Unlike those easy biscuits. We are excited to see how you did this round.